Hey everybody, it's Chase with AVA Pop Culture again, and today I'm here to talk about the state of physical media. There's been a lot of worry and misinformation out there with Sony and the Blu-ray discs and all other kinds of nonsense that's being spit by people who do not like physical media. They try to bury and then dance on the grave of physical media for clicks to fit their agenda or whatever, and it causes a lot of problems that ripple through the community and hurt physical media, and I have a problem with that. I'm going to explain to you why they are wrong, and quite honestly, with my birthday yesterday, I am getting too old for these clowns' shit. So pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this.
It's a sad thing, but I feel like every couple of months, a new story comes out that kind of is another signpost on the highway of life that the role of physical media continues to die.
All right, so my goodness. Let me just go ahead and start and put to bed right now. No, Sony is not stopping the production of Blu-rays. They 100% are not stopping the production of Blu-rays. What they are stepping away from is the blank recordable Blu-ray discs. They were manufacturing those, and there's even misinformation about that. There are people who are talking about this that say that Sony was the #1 producer of those Blu-ray discs. No, they weren't.
And Sony is the #1 world producer of recordable Blu-ray media. Sony now is starting to get one foot out the door of its physical media business.
Verbatim was a company that's owned by used to be owned by Mitsubishi. Now it's owned by the Magnetic Corporation. It's like CMC. Verbatim is what I've used in a professional setting, not Sony. So we're going to look at all that in a minute, but my goodness, I do not understand why these people who admittedly own and care nothing about physical media.
I don't have a disc player anywhere in my house. I literally don't have anything that if, you handed me and lent me a Blu-ray that I could literally put it in and play.
Why do those people want to hurry up and bury physical media or try to and then dance on its grave with all kinds of misinformation? I have a theory about that we're going to get to in a minute, but I want to kind of look, first of all, recordable discs. If you like recordable discs, they're not actually going anywhere. Sony is the only one who is stepping away from making them. And if you go to Amazon right now and look, it is not, Sony only had a couple of listings, period, in like the first 10 pages of recordable discs. And they were the most expensive by far. Like, by far. You are paying over $3 on average for a blank Sony Blu-ray disc. Whereas other companies, it's $1 or less. And there wasn't a selection. So part of the reason they're probably getting out of it is it's not profitable to them because they're not competitive in the marketplace with price. And if you're just making a blank disc, it doesn't have to be Sony. But to say that Sony is getting out of this, we all know it hit the news big time last year. Sony is doing a deal. They've done a deal with Disney to put out all of Disney and Touchstone, Fox, everything Disney owns. They are now have the licensing ability for untold amounts of money. Quite literally, neither company has announced how much this deal was worth. They've kept that in-house, which means there's a lot of particulars to it and a whole lot of money. And they are going to put out all of Disney's content on physical media. That's the only thing they can do with that licensing deal. That's it. They can only put it on physical media. They can't stream it. They can't do anything else. They can only put it on physical media. Now, Do you think they would fork over untold amounts of money to do that if they were going to stop making them? That literally makes no sense. Yet you have clowns out here who just keep spitting uninformed stuff. They're just saying stuff for clicks, and because they personally, for some reason, do not like physical media. You have this guy, and he's saying with a little smirk on his face that Sony is one step out the door. This means that Sony is one step out the door to end physical media.
Sony now is starting to get one foot out the door of its physical media business.
And then he comes back with this little smirk on his face, and he's like, but they are going to stop making Blu-rays. That's coming to the end. They're going to stop making Blu-ray players. That's coming to an end too.
They are not saying Sony is stopping making Blu-ray players, although they will soon.
Like, you can see the joy in his face, the little dig at physical media, and the hope and the glint in his eye that it's all going to come to an end. Now, I don't make it a habit of going after other YouTubers in this space, physical media. It's everybody's like family, even if we disagree or whatever. We can fight amongst ourselves, but you outside people come in here, we're going to whoop your ass. That's how I can fight with my brother, but if you pick a fight with my brother, you got a problem with me too. And that's how I feel here. We're like a family, and like, why does someone with no vested interest that says that they don't like it, that they own no physical media, why are they always needling? You have to go after that and kind of ask that question, and then they spit it with all kinds of incorrect facts that they change at will. This same guy, like a month or so ago, when I had to take him to task about the LG players, was saying that Oppo had been the number one seller of 4K players, and now it was LG.
The two biggest Blu-ray making players in the world, companies that made Blu-ray players, have already gotten out of making Blu-ray. LG already announced that they are stopping production of making Blu-ray players. Samsung, which was the world's leader in Blu-ray player production, already discontinued making Blu-ray players. The only two significant players in the game that still produce Blu-ray players are Sony and Panasonic, and both have kind of indicated that that may be drawing to a close at some point.
Well, now he's saying it's Sony, because now this fits his thing. He's saying it's Sony, and he just has a feeling Sony's going to stop making these players. It's coming. As a matter of fact, he goes so far as to play Nostradamus and say that by the end of the year, they're going to stop making them.
I believe before the end of 2025 will come the announcement that Sony is going to stop production of their Blu-ray players as well. That's coming.
Now, look, maybe somewhere for no nonsensical reason, whatever, Sony stops making Blu-ray players. Talk about cutting off your nose to spite your face. They just forked over untold amounts of money to put out movies on nothing but physical media. Why would they own almost a monopoly. Why would they stop making the machine that plays the format that they just bought the rights to? On what fucking planet does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. Unless you have an agenda against physical media and you're just doing this for clicks and to try to bury something that you don't like. And that's where we're going to get in. So, like, the question is why? Why do these people, why do they seek the end of physical media so bad? We're not out here saying that they have to stop streaming. We're telling them streaming is shit quality. Streaming can be censored at any time. Streaming can continue to raise your prices. Streaming can hold art, which are movies, hostage from you, the consumer, so that you have to pay them forever. Streaming can remove something at any time and wipe it from the face of the earth in order to get a tax refund. Those are all things that can't be done with physical media. So we let them know that. But we're not saying stop streaming. Matter of fact, you'll hear me plenty of times say, try something before you buy. Try it on Tubi. Try it here. Try it there. Try it before you buy. I'll tell people that all the time. And we're not trying to kill it. But the people who hate physical media, man, they try to kill it. And I can't for the life of me figure out why. And then I came to a reason. This is the only thing that I think of. Why do they do it? It's FOMO. I really believe it's FOMO. These are the type of people who they don't want to collect physical media anymore. They don't want to have to buy physical media. They don't care enough about it. They're just going to casually watch a movie or a TV show or something on their phone, or when we'll get into that later, or whatever here and there. They don't care. They are okay overpaying for a lesser product for the convenience. So they don't care. Until someone buys something that might be better than what they have, until someone has an ownership that they don't have, until someone can hand over money and get a physical product that they don't have. Someone gets extras that they don't have. Now suddenly they don't like it. Like, they don't want to have to buy that, right? So what they want to do is put us all on an even playing field. They want you to not be because they don't want to buy it. They don't want you to be able to buy it because they don't want to have to be burdened by the thought that they are missing out on something and that you have something they don't have. They want, if this all goes away, then they don't have to worry that they're missing out on something. We're all just stuck to streaming, and that's it. We're all in the same boat. But as long as we can go out here and buy these movies, and I keep holding these up because this is the videos I want to do. I'm working on a lot of review videos for you guys. I've got some awesome 4Ks in here. Yesterday was my birthday. I watched all of these movies. So and a couple of others. So I have got a lot of reviews coming for you because of the badass quality of 4K. Now there's, each thing is individual and we'll get into that. But if they can eliminate this from you, if they can take away your ability to buy this, they don't have to be burdened with the thought that they are missing out on something. If they take away streaming tomorrow, if physical media was dead and they all of a sudden removed the internet or streaming, we'd all be in the same boat. And they would feel comfortable with that. They do not feel comfortable with you having thousands of these great films that you are not beholden to anyone to be taken away from you. So, like, this is the only way I can make it make sense. Like, where their hatred comes from is if they take away your ability to buy that, then if the movies go away, they're not missing out on anything. We're all missing out on everything the same. Right now, they are missing out on extra features. They're missing out on quality. They're missing out on artwork. They're missing out on ownership. They're missing out on all kinds of stuff, and they don't like it. But they don't, and it just pisses them off that they have to buy the physical media, and there's other people buying it that have something that they don't. So it boils down to FOMO. I really believe that's what it is. They want FOMO taken away. They don't want to have to worry that they're missing something. So they gleefully root for it to go away and try to bury it every chance they get, so that it's just not something they have to concern themselves with anymore. We're all stuck in the same boat. They don't want to think that you're in a better boat swimming in a better direction. That's what it is. You're paddling in a better direction, and they're afraid that the direction they picked is wrong. So if I can block your way to go that direction and you have to come my way, then I don't have to worry about that anymore. That's the only thing I can come, because otherwise that and clicks, that's the only reason. Because if you don't like it, fine, go swim in your direction. Why do you have to try to bury everyone back the other way? It makes no damn sense to me. And the older I get, the less I have time for shit like that. The less I have time for drama. The less I have time for people complaining. You do you, motherfucker. You do you, and I will do me, and this community will do itself. And stop trying to take away something we like, dance on the grave, get the little smirks on your face at the thought that the 4K players might stop. Because it's not going to. It's just like vinyl. And here's another place, maybe get your facts correct, right? Maybe get your facts correct, because he goes into vinyl, which is somehow music kind of gets... Here recently, people figured out that vinyl does sound better. It has a more holistic sound to it, which all of us older people have been trying to tell you for a long time. But he actually says that vinyl is a niche, and it has no real place in the music business.
Vinyl record players around. It's not a real part of the industry anymore.
So it has no place in the music business. Did you know that last year, vinyl, after growing for 17 straight years in sales, last year, vinyl albums accounted for 40%, 40% of all albums sold. I'd say it has a place in the business. It accounts for almost half of the damn stuff that is sold. Almost half of all albums sold are vinyl. I'd say that's a place in the business. There are more people making record players now than there was when it was at the height, where it was the preferred format. There is always going to be even if it shrinks down to a collector's market. We're being told right now by this guy and others that it's a dead format, that it's dying, it's on its way out, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then it's only going to be Panasonic, and then Panasonic will be gone, and then the whole thing will be dead.
And yet we see stuff selling out constantly. Constant limited editions, re-releases, all this stuff, and it's selling out. Price increases, going up. Prices don't go up unless the demand goes up. Unless people are buying them, like they can sell something for $50 because people are buying it at $50. If nobody was buying it, they couldn't sell it for that. I mean, some of this stuff is basic economics, and even if it becomes a collector's market, that tends to make things more highly sought after. So then it's just like vinyl. So you could turn around in a few years as streaming prices are going up again. Netflix is about to raise it to $26 a month for their top level tier. $25.99. That's insane. You still have to have internet to make it work. Streaming is cable at this point, but you're paying more for it to get in, and they're splitting stuff off and everything else. Eventually that bubble will burst, and it's already started. And you have these articles where they're talking about how this better be a wake-up call for streaming. They're having to combine themselves and be offered on cable as basically a cable premium channel. The thing that they were supposed to directly go against, cable, they've now had to align themselves with because they are losing memberships. They're having to raise prices because there was always an end cap on streaming that I don't know how they never saw. This is where people get in a bubble and they think everybody is like them. There's actually far more people in this country that don't have high-speed internet that can stream. There's far more people in this country that don't have the access, the infrastructure to be able to do that, nor do they care. But they will still check out a movie from their library. They will still buy a movie from the $5 bin at Walmart and watch it, because the people in the cities that have the access in the suburbs and stuff, overall for the country, they're the minority. Like, there's a lot of people in rural areas, they're never going to have the speed of internet to stream 4K. And now Netflix is charging more for 4K content. So there's a miscalculation. There was always a ceiling that doesn't exist with physical media. Physical media can permeate. You can own this one thing and go home and watch it 100 times. You don't have to keep paying for it. So there's always, when it comes to subscriptions and everything else, there was always a cap. When it comes to relying on internet, see, this doesn't require on anything else to play. You just have to have your TV and a player. With internet, with streaming, you have to have the internet. It requires another step. And the viewing experience is not the same. So he goes on to say, well, I got my whole thing on my phone. I can watch all of my movies on my phone.
My entire movie collection, I have right on here.
That's not experiencing a movie. I don't care who you are. That's not experiencing a movie. Have you heard what David Lynch thought about that?
Now, if you're playing the movie on a telephone or on your computer, you will never in a trillion years experience the film. You'll think you have experienced it, but you'll be cheated. It will be a week. You'll be experiencing weakness and extreme putrefaction of a potential experience in another world. So don't let your friends or some television advertisement trick you into accepting weakness. It's such a sadness. Power in that world is critical. Everything has been worked on to be a certain way. And if you don't have a setup for your films, it's a joke. It's just the most sickening, horrifying joke. And this world is so troubled. And it's such a sadness that you think you've seen a film on your fucking telephone. Get real.
You gotta love David Lynch. He spits out facts. It's facts. There are so many things that are designed in a movie. The color, the shots, the sound design, the sound effects, all this stuff to engulf you into another world, into another experience that you're never going to get with streaming, and you are damn sure not going to get on your phone. But we still let you people who want to stream everything do that without like trying to make you stop. These people trying to make you stop with physical media, I'm not going to stop with this, because you know what? I don't ever have to buy this again. I don't have to pay to watch this again. I have it. I own it. I have beautiful artwork. I have boatloads of extras. I have all kinds of things that you are not going to get on streaming. And if you care about quality, I am not in the camp of you'll own nothing and like it. Count me out on that. I hand over my hard-earned money. I want something back. All right? I want to be able to hold it and know that you can't take it from me at any time. So like now they already have pushed this to where if you buy a digital movie, they have to tell you you're licensing it. You're not actually owning it. You are licensing it because they can take it at any time still. So they can't do that with this. They can't do it with that. But I just wanted to get out there and kind of, address this. I hate to go on these rants. I would and like kind of set things straight. I wanted to talk movies, and I'm going to this week. I've got some awesome recommendations for you all. I've got some rankings lists. I've got all kinds of the fun stuff that we do, but it is important because we are going up against people with giant megaphones to blast misinformation, and it can hurt this community. And when you start to hurt this community, you affect not only us people who love it and collect it, who I'm very protective of, but you hurt the small businesses, people like Orbit DVD, or Diabolic, or Atomic, or the boutiques like Vinegar Syndrome and Arrow and Kino Lorber and Scream Factory and Ignite and 88 Films. And all of them, you hurt them, because the average person who might be considering getting into this, they're like, well, man, they told me it's going away. I'm not gonna be able to buy a player. I'm not gonna invest in that. I can't even buy a player. Sony's getting out of this. So I'm just gonna stay with streaming. That is their agenda. That's what they're trying to do. And when you have 300, 400,000 subscribers that you're shouting your megaphone to, it's significant enough to hurt this community. And I take exception to that. And I will defend this. I'll defend. I will defend, and I will defend all of you who collect it and love it and understand the quality and appreciate it, because it is art. It is not just a discardable thing. Maybe I'm more protective of that as a writer and a filmmaker myself, but it's not a discardable thing to watch on your phone and forget about. It is not a damn reel that somebody made for 30 seconds. It is not a TikTok video. It is a piece of art, a movie that marks its time, that so many people behind the scenes put their blood, sweat, and tears into to make and create for you to experience and enjoy for generations to come. It is not discardable. It's not something that should be watched in its lowest discardable form and forgotten. It is something made to mark the time, a piece of art to exist beyond us. And that's what physical media does. And if you want to try to come after it, I'm going to stand in your way. But that's what I got for you today. We do all kinds of things here: physical media news, movie recommendations and rankings, 4K reviews, all that kind of stuff from a fan and a filmmaker's perspective. I'm not just out here talking out of my backside. I put my money where my mouth is. I make this stuff. That's how I made a living. That's how I continue to make a living. I want to open a boutique and restore and preserve even more films, make more films, and talk films with you. And that's what I do here. And if that is your jam, please like and subscribe, y'all. It does help me out, and it helps us fight against those people with bigger megaphones who are trying to kill the thing we love with misinformation, probably because of their FOMO. And that's what I got for you. You can support the channel too by becoming a member down below at Patreon or YouTube, and get all kinds of extra videos of me talking real behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.
I know.